There once lived a boy named Veta, born to a family of stonecutters. In his village, strength was measured in sound, how loud your hammer struck, how quickly your chisel danced, how deep your name was carved into the walls. But Veta barely spoke. He walked with slouched shoulders, and when men passed, he looked not at their faces, but at the ground. Each day, his father placed a chisel in his hand and said, "You must shape the stone, or it will shape you." But Veta's hands trembled, not from weakness, but from doubt. He feared the clang of failure, the laugh of others if his lines wavered. So he only carved when no one watched, in secret, under moonlight, where mistakes could hide and silence wouldn't judge. Then, one day, a wandering monk arrived. He wore robes the color of ash and eyes like still water. He stood in the village, square, as the stonecutters paused their hammers, and he said, "There is a stone in the forest. If carved perfectly, it will echo your name. Once and never again." The men laughed. A fable, they said, a ghost story for idle minds. But Veta felt something stir in his chest, a spark, like memory. He followed the monk through the trees. There it was, a single towering stone, cracked, moss-covered, taller than any man. Time had kissed it slowly. Rain had worn it smooth. No one had dared touch it. The monk placed his hand on the stone and whispered, "Carve it, but only when your hands believe what your heart says." And with that, he turned and disappeared into the mist. For 7 days, Veta sat before the stone. He did not eat. He did not speak. Each day he lifted the chisel and lowered it again, too afraid of what others would say, of what the stone might not say. He waited, hoping for a sign, hoping to become someone more. But on the 8th morning, nothing changed. Not the sky, not the wind, not the stone. Only one thing was different. Veta no longer waited to be ready. He no longer waited to be perfect. He simply began, stroke by stroke. He carved, not to be seen, but to see himself. Each line was crooked. Each mark was raw. But they were his. He carved with stillness, with silence, with surrender. And on the 7th, sunset, when the sun hung like gold on the edge of the forest, he stepped back. He said nothing, because for once, his heart was quiet. And then the wind held its breath. The leaves stilled, and from the heart of the stone, a whisper rose. It was not a sound. It was not an echo. It was his name. Once, never again. Confidence is not built in noise. It is born in the silence. When you stop carving for approval and start carving for truth. When your hands trust your heart, even stone will remember your name. Hit like, subscribe, and let's dive into more wisdom together.